You are so lucky because in today's conversation, I want to talk to you about high limit credit cards from big national banks, how to get approved if you have a FICO minimum of 500. Don't go anywhere. You're going to love today's conversation. I guarantee it. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweaty Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous. If you were to ask me, if you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee, or tea, or vodka, and let's roll. In today's conversation, I want to talk about high limit credit cards from big national banks, how to get approved with a minimum FICO score of 500. Credit card. We all love credit cards, right? Big national banks don't like to advertise that they issue unsecured credit cards and provide unsecured loans to folks with bad credit because of the resulting perception. This could be bad for business for them. But if you follow a few specific steps, you may get a massive credit limit even if you have poor credit. There are three important things to keep in mind. So if you have bad credit and want a decent unsecured credit card, you got to do three things, folks. I want you to write them down right now. First thing is you want to beef up your deposits through savings, checkings, IRA, whatever. But you need to increase the amount of ka-ching, the amount of cash inflows coming into your deposit accounts. You want to park as much of that money as possible at the bank or credit union where you want to get a high limit credit card, okay? You want to focus your NPR, folks. This is important. And you want to reduce your debt to income ratio. You want to pay down your existing debt significantly. That's what I'm talking about. So you want to seek big national banks and credit unions that offer high limit credit cards for poor credit. Now, most of these cards will never say credit cards for poor credit, but they will indicate credit cards for average credit. That's the keyword here, average credit. So you can get in, but you need to do a few things. Again, it's all about reputational perception for those institutions as well as risk mitigation. So possible candidates could be the Navy Fed Cash Rewards, the Navy Fed Platinum, the Navy Fed Go Rewards. Okay, these three credit cards accept fair or average credit, but with some good savings, a low DTI, and solid pay, solid income, you can be approved even if you have a low FICO score. You might also want to try the USAA Rewards Visa Signature Credit Card, okay, or the Chase Freedom Unlimited. Okay, those are great cards if you have a minimum FICO score of 500. But you need to have, again, like I said, you need to have a strong deposit strategy. You need to have money. If you have a skinny FICO score, you better have a fat checking account. And you can also try the Wells Fargo Active Cash Card. This is also a great card that will accept you, that will give you a high limit, even if you have a low FICO score. And on our list also, we have found the US Bank Visa Platinum Card. This is a great card, and you also could be approved for a potentially high limit, even if you have a low FICO score. So the first thing is you need to familiarize yourself with the credit cards that will approve you for a high limit. Number two, you need to have proof of your FICO score. Now, you just walking around, you're thinking, I probably have a 500. My FICO is probably 500 or 550. My question is, how sure are you? Talk to me about that. You want to review your FICO for accuracy. When was the last time you checked your FICO? Talk to me about those things. Okay, I want to know. Yeah, I'm asking you right now. When was the last time you took the time to go to a website and check your credit score? You want to investigate major entries on your credit report. I'm talking here about trade line account information. What are the revolving lines of credit that you have, the credit cards, the loans? You want to check all those things. Those are called trade lines, okay? You want to check your bio data, your address. And there is a very easy way. There's a website called annualcreditreport.com. They will basically, if you go to that website, once a year, you have free access to copies of your 3 credit reports from Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. Take advantage of that, okay? Big decision time here. Big decision time. If you don't like to go on annualcreditreport.com because the website is a little like, in terms of user user friendliness is not really there yet. Have you tried other services? There are services that offer free credit report. You have Credit Karma, Wallet Hub, Nerd Wallet. You have CreditWise from a Capital One. Discover has a similar service. And the cool thing here is you don't have to be a customer to qualify for this free access to your credit report. You only need to sign up, and they'll use your data to sort of serve you some ads. That's how they make money. But it's all good. It's all good. And the thing here is that you want to check that there is no weird entry on your credit report, because this could be a sign of identity theft. Okay, you want to keep copies of your latest credit reports from all three bureaus just in case. You never know. So the goal here, what is the goal here? The goal here is to dispute any derogatory item so you can bring your FICO up before applying for a bank or credit union credit card. So we're basically saying here is that the minimum FICO score that you need is 500. Yes, but what if you could bring it up to 600, to 650, to 675, simply by just looking at your credit report and just removing the wrong items, the inaccurate items, the derogatory items. So you got to do that. Okay, this is really important. The third thing you want to do is to beef up your savings. You need to clean up your financial act. Yes, it's really it's always interesting when we talk about credit, personal credit. Some people are surprised when we talk about savings. Well, these things go hand in hand, my friend. You cannot increase your credit score if you're not financially responsible, because you got into this quote unquote hole in the first place by not being financially responsible. So to get out of it, you need to adopt a certain routine. When we talk about financial responsibility, right? Money. You need to start saving right now. My point is, if you're trying to apply for a credit card from a big national bank and you have poor FICO and you want to get a high credit limit, you better have some cash at the bank. If you have a skinny FICO, you need to have a fat checking account or savings account or whatever it is. So when we talk about savings, we're speaking about money market accounts. We are speaking about CDs. We are speaking about regular savings accounts. CDs stands for certificates of deposits. Okay, you want to pay attention to your DTI, your debt to income ratio. This is important because you basically are trying to reduce the amount of money, the amount of cash you allocate to debt servicing. In other words, trying to bring your loans down. You want to bring the loan amount that you currently have, how much you owe, you want to bring it down. Think about your CUR also, because credit card issuers, especially big national banks, will pay attention to your CUR, your credit utilization ratio. So the thing here is that if you have poor credit, okay, picture this, you have poor credit and the bank is realizing that you have a high CUR. In other words, you are maxing out your credit cards that you currently have. Do you really think they are going to give you a new credit card or even increase your limits? No, my friend, no, because they will be looking at you as this is like high risk, red flags. So you really want to lower your DTI, but also your CUR. You want to bring it to below 35%. This is really good. Okay. You want to have all the elements of financial responsibility. When we talk about savings, it's not just about saving money. It's also about being in a position where you can reduce expenses. You want to have a budget. All those things go hand in hand. And have you recently gotten a higher income, a higher pay? Or have you added a second job? Are you looking for ways to constantly make money? If your 9 to 5 is not bringing you sufficient amount of money, can you have a side gig? Can you do something online? Think about that. Can you do some tutoring, some online tutoring and make some extra cash? You need to beef up your savings. The fourth step, you got to pay attention to banking. Okay, you want to increase your rates and amount of savings, focusing on one or two primary institutions. And you want to put more money at accounts held at the institution whose credit card you really want to get. Here, I want to talk to you about beefing up your MPR, your multi-product relationship. Okay, and when we speak about MPR, we're speaking about asset accounts. We are speaking about deposit accounts. We're speaking about accounts where the money is yours. I'm not speaking about liability accounts, okay? It's kind of funny because we have seen on YouTube people using NPR and they're saying, this is just, this encompasses all accounts. First of all, NPR is a concept that we use in this company, in our company for the last 15 years. If you go online and look for it, you're not going to find it. It's something that we invented that we use personally as a metric. So when we analyze an NPR, we look at deposit accounts. You never think about your mortgage, your credit cards, your loans when thinking about NPR. Okay, so I want to show you how you can beef up your NPR. Let's go to chase.com, and I want you to look right now at the sitemap. This tells you basically all the products that Chase currently offers. Okay, and I want you to focus on the checking accounts section. Forget about credit cards; those are liability accounts. Forget about auto loans; those are liability accounts. You want to focus on checking accounts. So you can see here that you have a constellation of checking accounts. You have Chase Total Checking, Premier Plus Checking. You have the Sapphire Checking with interest. You have a lot of checking accounts. I want you to right now, if your goal is to get a high limit credit card from Chase, I want you right now to choose one checking account. And then you want to go to savings account and CD. So you have Chase Savings, Chase Premier Savings, Certificate of Deposits, and this here you want to choose also another one savings account. So you have one checking account and one savings account. And if you have more money to park, why don't you just open a CD also? Okay, you can see also here that you can be a Chase private client, but this is for folks who have who are just loaded, financially speaking. And you can also consider planning and investments. So you can open an IRA, you can open a brokerage account. So here, what I'm trying to say here is that you want to focus on 4 product categories that can help you strengthen your relationship, aka NPR, with Chase: checking accounts, savings accounts and CDs, Chase private clients, and planning and investments. So this is really good, okay? So you want to apply the same strategy to your own big bank or credit union. For example, USAA offers various insurance policies besides traditional banking products. So here is another opportunity to strengthen your relationship with the institution where you want to get the credit card the high limit credit card that you want, okay? So if you have a business, you could also apply this strategy on the business side. I want to talk to you about compromising. You want to be ready to accept a low limit at first. So here in this show, we are giving you the potential, what's ideal. If you have a low FICO score, it is possible to get a high limit credit card from a big national bank or credit union. However, this might not happen because of your financial situation or of other factors we cannot control. So if you are given a low limit credit card, please accept it. Don't turn it down. Okay, there are a few steps you can follow to request a limit increase after, say, 6 months or 9 months, or even request an upgrade if possible. And first, you want to pay on time and in full. So if you have a low limit credit card, please, you want to use the card. That's very important, but you want to pay on time and in full. Okay, because as a first time credit card applicant, or a second time, or as a low FICO credit card applicant, your credit history might be a little different. So you want to show the bank, you want to show the credit union that you are responsible financially, and you want to keep your balances low. I was speaking to you earlier about the importance of CUR, the importance of credit utilization ratios. This is important. You want to maintain the CUR at around 30% or around 35%. Just FYI, credit utilization accounts for 30% of your FICO score. This is huge. So right besides payment history, you have a credit utilization that really clocks in at 30%. So if you're able to control your credit utilization, you are going to bump up your credit score in no time. And please, do not be afraid to ask. Okay, so if a credit card issuer gives you, let's say, a 2,000 or 5,000 limit, that's fine. You might think of it as a low credit limit, but it's not a life sentence. If your limit has not been automatically increased after several months of responsible borrowing, try a more direct approach. You can ask for higher limits directly. You can do this over the phone. You can do this online if your credit card issuer has that capability, or you can just go to a branch. But when you go to a branch and you're asking for a limit increase, make sure that you have the proper paperwork to back it up. Okay, so you can tell them, for instance, that you have been a good customer, you have been paying on time, or that right now you're just making money, you're making more money, and you believe that you can qualify for a higher limit increase. For a limit increase. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another session of the Awesome Sweaty Kiwi Show. We're also having a conversation today about how to get approved for a high limit credit card from a big national bank or credit union, even if you have a low FICO. Okay, the thing is, you need to gauge your approval odds. This is step number 6. So you want to gather some intel about the whole process before applying. Why would you risk a hard pull if you have no information? If you have a lender or a credit card issuer such as PenFed, for example, that offers soft pulls, that's just great. So you want to inquire at a branch or over the phone, speak to a live person, speak to someone, to a human. Okay, you want to go for cards that do soft pulls. That way you can cover your ass and not be dinged by those 10 points drops that come after every hard inquiry. You don't want that. You can also ask a relative or friend who already has the card. You can ask them to talk to you about the card, what the limits are, what's the APR. So what I'm trying to say here is that you want to gather intel from the company itself, but also from your private circle. Okay, you want to have as much intel as possible. You can also get some intel on finance forums. For example, if you go on FICO forums, you get a lot of information about people who currently have the card that you're trying to get, and they will tell you what the important information is about the card. You can also ask to be added as an authorized user on a relative's card, so you can build credit, but also find out what the potential limit could be on the card, assuming that your relative is using the same card you want. Okay, and one thing you also want to do here is that a better way to gauge your approval odds is to constantly monitor your FICO score, is to constantly pay attention to your financial metrics. Here, I want you to focus on your credit utilization. I want you to focus on your DTI, but most importantly, I want you to also think about increasing your pay, increasing your cash inflows. If you currently have a job and the job is not paying you well enough to qualify for the card that you want, then get a second job, or try to work on the weekends, or have a side gig, or start an online business, something you can do on a part-time basis so that you can be making money and also complement. You can use that cash to complement your traditional, your primary income. And last but not the least, you need to apply. You want to apply at a branch if possible. If not, do it over the phone. Our advice to you is to never do the application process online. You never want to apply online. If you have poor credit and you want to get a high limit credit card, this will not happen. Because when you apply online, you are being taken care of by an algorithm. Don't believe the holy story about the Navy Fed so-called midnight hack. So you want to apply around midnight or 2 a.m. or 1 a.m. so that the machine will be sleeping and the staff at Navy Fed is also sleeping. So you should be able to sneak in. No, that's just BS. All right, it's just BS. You don't want that, and you don't want to believe that. Okay, you want to apply at a branch. You want to speak to someone. You want to gauge your approval odds before allowing them to do a hard pull on you. This is the whole point. The whole point is to have enough intel, okay? And make sure that you have your paperwork ready when you go to the branch. You need to have your latest FICO reports. Even though the credit union or bank will pull its own reports, but if you have your reports in hand, it shows that you have done your homework. See, you're trying to show that you have done homework, you know exactly what you want, and you've done the homework to get what you want. Make sure that you have your tax returns, so your 1040 for the last 2 years or the last 3 years, depending on the institution. They might ask you to provide your financial statements. Okay, this is really, especially if you're asking for a high limit. For me, and for us here on this show, when we talk about high limits, we are speaking about 5 digits, okay? Starting at $10,000. That's what we call 5 digits. This is what we call 5 digits. This is what we call high limits. So if you're trying to have, you better have some proof. You better have some financial statements that shows that you are making more money. You better have the last 3 monthly bank statements that show the inflows and cash outflows also. And think about your personal budget. Now, you don't have to show the banker or the credit card issuer your personal budget, but it's just good to have, okay? You never know. And think about your housing expenses. You want to have a nice schedule that shows your housing expenses. Either you're paying a mortgage, you're paying a mortgage loan. I mean, you have you're paying rent or making a payment on your mortgage. You also have ancillary expenses. So when we talk about housing expenses, we have ancillary expenses, okay, not just the rent or mortgage payments. And you also want to mention, while you are at the branch, the extent of your MPR with the institution. You want to bring it up so they know that you have been a client, you have been a loyal client for the last, say, 6 months, 1 year, 5 years, or 10 years, whatever the length is, but you need to bring it up. All right, folks, this is it for today's conversation. I was talking to you about how to get approved for a large credit card from a big national bank, even if you have a FICO score of 500 or more, okay? First, you need to pay attention to the credit cards you're looking for. Number 2, make sure that your FICO is absolutely correct. Number 3, you want to beef up your savings. Number 4, you want to take care of your banking, your relationship with the institution. Number 5, you want to be ready to compromise. Number 6, you want to gauge your approval odds. And number 7, you want to apply. Thank you so much for your attention, folks. I'll speak to you another time, but until then, remember, stay marvelous.